Hey, it's last time on again.
Come on, bring the energy.
We do the TV shows that you're not gonna watch because we shouldn't be either. Ugh, Ben, you've tortured me.
I am Ben.
We are Victorless today. I'm Xhafer, and we are without Victor. Victor's feeling ill, so everyone send good energy towards Victor's way. Good healing energies. He needs them. I think he's just got a cold or something. It's nothing serious, but but he's cannot be recording today. His sinuses. I'm sure his voice is all stuffed up, and
he's got those deep dulcet tones.
How lucky he is to not have to talk about this terrible fucking episode of television.
I don't know what you're talking about, Xhafer. This was
blessed.
A masterpiece.
What divine providence that he need not speak of it.
I hope he already watched it. Because he didn't know.
He will before this episode airs, I'm sure. God, man, this fucking episode. Here's how bad this was, Ben. I started the wrong episode on accident when I started watching this episode of podcast, and I got a full 2 minutes into the next episode before I remembered it was supposed to be about drag racing, and nothing towards that was happening at all in the plot. And I bumped out and realized I had clicked the wrong one on accident. The next episode looks so much better that I just had that taste in my mouth the entire time. We could have been watching the one about what I'm guessing was, and I only watched 2 minutes and it didn't get to this point, a nanomachine-infused robot going on a killing spree.
I already watched that episode of Babylon 5.
Exactly. That terrible fucking episode of Babylon 5. And that sounded better than this. That's where we fucking were. On God, I didn't even write down the episode name. I was so disgusted with it. Breakdown on Thunder Road.
Now, Xhafer,
yes,
I have to ask. In the course of this episode, do we ever go to Thunder Road?
I don't think so.
We don't. That is the one and only mistake this episode makes.
I mean, I guess there is a breakdown. Of a car at one point.
It explodes. A couple of cars explode.
No, the Viper breaks down for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's de facto Thunder Road.
Yeah, I guess.
Man, there are a number of car explosions in this episode. I wonder what happened there. Because I didn't see any Dodges getting blown up.
Just some Pontiacs.
Pontiacs is, yeah. I think one was a Plymouth. But yeah.
But we open in media heist.
We open on a volatile liquid storage is the name on the sign here. Nothing of honor lives here. Some robbers are watching, and a guy who got into a car with guns for headlights said nobody gets hurt, right? And then handed a pistol.
Yeah, I do love that, hey, nobody's going to get hurt, right? You're in the machine gun car? People are going to get hurt.
There will be hurting.
And we get a heist done by the least discreet criminals in history. They've got machine gun hot rods and what, Xhafer?
A fucking monster truck.
Hell yeah. There's something to be said for being so above the radar.
Bravado.
Well, it's the sort of thing when you tell the police, yeah, they stole all of our rocket fuel in a monster truck. They're like, did you just lose your rocket fuel and you're just lying to us? If you said you threw it in the back of a panel van, we'd be like, okay, well, put out an APB on a panel van. When you said
Yeah.
a giant lifted monster truck, we're like, you huffing that fuel?
Which monster truck was it? They all have names. Surely this one had a big name painted on the side of it. A name is required.
And then one of them gets pushed off of the top of the Silver Dome.
Tickets are just $10. The first 100 people in the gate get a can of natural light. Sunday.
So, like, they start just spraying bullets. Like, there is volatile liquid stored outside.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
besides just the rocket fuel, which is, like, on a truck that they're moving at that moment, there's also, like, a ton of propane tanks, and they're just actively firing countless bullets into this general area. And it's just like, if there's one place on fucking Earth you don't spray fucking bullets into, it's probably the building that has volatile liquids written on it.
Yeah, no, it is in line with the level of competence and intelligence of the villains we are working with this episode. So it's great writing.
Speaking of the competence and intelligence of the villains that we're working with this episode, let's talk about the competence and intelligence of the heroes we're working with this episode. No Joe, no Julian. Only Frankie has survived to Team Viper Season 2.
Xhafer,
And Frankie's not even the same. Where did his accent go?
you made a mistake here. You say no Joe? We clearly have a lead male character with a mid part and our drapey hair. Tom is Joe Frank or Joe Mike.
Joe Mike.
Joe Mike.
Joe
is
Astor
Tom.
Mike Payton.
He's just had his memory wiped again.
Who's Tom?
Thomas is our new main character, Thomas Cole.
That's not his name. Oh, Thomas Cole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just caught Cole. I thought his name was Cole.
Yes. So,
okay.
Last time on, Joe got hit by a bus again, and woke up as now, instead of a agent controlled by Metro City, he works for the feds.
So, I want to talk about Joe Astor for a minute, played by Joe McCaffrey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you clock his voice in the previous 2 episodes?
No.
Because I'm like, what the fuck was he doing? Right? So I pop over on IMDb for a second, just to look at titles, just to see what else he was on. You know, he's the voice of Max fucking Payne.
I don't know about angels, but it's fear that gives men wings.
No shit.
He's in every single Remedy game until he passed away 2 years ago. He's director Zachariah in Control.
I've never played Control.
Oh, Control's so fucking good. He's also in the Alan Wake games.
I've never played an Alan Wake.
Man,
But I played a lot of Max Payne.
yeah, he is Max Payne. He is the voice of Max Payne in the video games.
But Mark Wahlberg was in the god-awful movie.
Yeah.
That movie was bad. Like, I'm very forgiving.
Yeah, so
That movie's shit.
we learn a handful of things in this scene here. Viper now has a jurisdiction.
Yes. It's gone legit.
The feds can dispatch Viper.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie's lost his offensive accent and gained a goatee. I don't recognize this show anymore.
This is...
Dramatic casting changes.
Yeah, this is different. I'm excited. Yeah, we now have... So, Julian, it seems, has more or less been replaced by... I wrote everybody's names down. Allie, who is our lady lab tech.
I did not write a single name down for any of these characters.
And then we also have Cameron, who is our lady cop, who works with Tom Joe Mike. Thank you, Victor, for giving us this nomenclature that's becoming very, very useful. So we now have 2 cops on the beat, except they're feds. We've got Frankie, who was just like, hey, I don't care, I'll stay with the car. And Allie, who is our new tech person.
Yeah.
But we still get our Frankie info dump
Yep.
where he gets to talk
we-
about, we got this city, this town, and they pushed out all the businesses.
No, it's not in that accent anymore. He speaks completely plain.
I know, but I can't
This
do it.
whole episode. I wonder if he got hit. That actually last time on, Frankie got hit in the head and lost his accent. That's what happened in the season finale. Anyways, Frankie info dumps us here. We learn the volatile liquid is some super rocket fuel that is giving NASA the lead in the space race, which naturally we care about since it's 1995.
Yeah, that's weird because it's like, this is even post Cold War. It's like, what space race?
Yeah.
But we have the small desert town of Black Diamond.
Famous for its steep slopes.
You give the meanest white man a piece of cheese and he turn into Mr. Rogers.
And for having one man standing alone against the forces of some car guys, one sheriff and his mustache. We have our sheriff walking through town, and all of our people are like, man, like, all the people used to come here, and now nobody comes here because there's like 4 car guys, and
Yep.
they never stop revving their engines. And it's like, I don't think anybody ever came here, guy. Like, this is Radiator Springs from Cars.
Yeah. This is in the middle of nowhere. So we've got the thieving gang, the Annihilators. They have their young prodigy juice up some with one of their nitrous injectors.
Yes.
And I found myself wondering at this moment, even if this is just like a tablespoon of rocket fuel, would it just make the car explode when ignited? Like the first time you inject it into the engine, would the car just explode?
Well, Xhafer, not to cut off your research, because I want you to tell me all your research. Having done...
There was no research.
Oh, but having done no research and knowing very little about cars or rocket fuel, I can tell you it would make your car instantly explode.
That would be my expectation, is that this would just destroy an engine block the way they talk about it. But, the car spins out here. Don't tell me how to drive. No explosions, though. We're saving all
it's
of
just
those
too
for
powerful.
later. Over at the crime scene, the Viper team uses their outside the red tape and bureaucracy methods to get things done. Score another point for this being a libertarian utopia.
Yes, there's too much paperwork and red tape. We get around it.
Yeah, who needs regulations?
Yeah.
Not us.
You know, it used to just be like the cops would know who the bad guy was, and they'd go and they'd get him. And it's like, why is the bad guy always an Italian immigrant? But I do love this this car guy, like, don't tell me how to drive. It's like, I just put a bomb in your car, man. Like, maybe ask about it.
Yeah.
But then we cut over to Cameron and Allie at the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And they are talking to Dr. Strom, and they are scanning the tire prints and are able to identify the make of the tires.
Yeah, that's possible. The other thing we get later in this episode, bullshit.
You don't like the vapor detector?
No, we'll get there.
Okay, but I do...
It's a throwaway line that made me so livid I stood up and walked away.
I do appreciate our twist on the Law and Order formula, which, as we know, is the guy who's too busy going about his job to stop and talk to the murder police. I'm sorry, federal agents, I must go and speak to this detective over here.
Yeah.
I did appreciate this. Does give us an idea of the world we're living in, where it's, hey, there's just too many people out there.
Yeah. We get a little bit here. We see the Viper pull into town before this all happens. And Frankie tries to pick a fight. And then we also hear about the jet fuel professor telling us he is suspicious about his son. Yes, The Viper. I gave that to your son, Ben.
I know, but I borrowed it for recording.
Oh,
The little
that's
Hot
fair.
Wheels Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where I decided that Frankie is only here because he has one true love, and that is the Viper. Tom is Joe Mike. And Julian was like, "You can't brainwash this guy again. I'm out." And that is where Julian is. He's like, "One brainwashing is fool me brainwash once, shame on me. Fool me brainwash twice, shame on you."
The commissioner's like, "Can we brainwash Julian into not remembering that we've brainwashed people?" I want to get the one credit back. We cut over to Bobby, the youngest little annihilator, who is hitting on a waitress at Works. They seemed, my initial note was, this is a big no, but then I actually put a line through it because they seem to have a relationship of some burgeoning variety outside of this interaction. And it's when she notices that he only orders a soda and then brings him a burger because he can't afford to eat.
Yeah.
That I then change my mind about this.
But then we find out that our waitress, it is not Callie. It is Clarissa.
Did she explain it all?
She didn't explain Jack in this episode. I pointed.
It's true.
She actually just seems to like anybody in our car gang, regardless of how piece of a shit they are.
No. That's not what's happening.
At-
She's being harassed by this dude who's giving her a ton of attention, and it is not wanted.
But it becomes unwanted halfway through the interaction.
Here's my read on all this. She wants to get into the party to hang out with Bobby.
Okay, because it seems like she was like hitting on I thought it was Robbie. But she's hitting on our young thief, and then it's also like, "I've got a date with your boss tomorrow or tonight." Like, until he turned super creep, I thought she was into it.
No. This guy is like trying to force things here. I will just go ahead and say, the reason you can't trust Matt, the leader of this gang, and that all of this attention is unwanted, is because there is a Venn diagram in my mind, Ben.
Okay.
And it is the Venn diagram. One circle is people who are forcing themselves and with unwanted attention. And the other circle is people who use the phrase sample the goods. And it is a perfect circle.
Unless you are like a cheesemonger or something.
Oh, well, sample the goods in reference to a sexual nature.
Yeah.
Fair. A cheesemonger can ask me to sample the goods, and I am positively delighted to respond with
Oh,
a yes.
you want to sample the goods? I'm like, I
Yes,
will try
that's
that
why I'm
smoked
here.
Gouda. Oh, yes.
Please, yes.
I brought my Lactaid. But I also similarly have a Venn diagram of people who shouldn't be allowed around women and people who get day drunk in a 50s diner. Because we see him later get cut off from a place that doesn't look like it serves alcohol.
Yeah, this guy looks like he calls women females. It's bad all around.
Yeah, he is our knockoff main character from Fastlane. Like,
Ugh.
if anybody remembers the TV show Fastlane.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the WWE and Kane.
No.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Our driver, whose name I don't have in my notes at this point.
Tom
Cole.
Yep.
Tom Joe Mike.
Yep.
Ends up punching Matt here to end this harassment.
And I love that, like, whoever wrote this episode clearly thinks that, like, muscle car gangs are still as cool as they were in the 50s.
Oh yeah, whoever wrote this episode has a giant fucking boner for Grease.
Yeah,
100%.
and it's just like,
that's actually the next line in my notes because
these guys
says
were
they're gonna race
always
for pinks.
Yeah, these guys were always pieces of shit. You just didn't have a car in the 50s. Or didn't have a car in the 70s while you were watching Grease talking about the 50s.
Our sheriff sees this whole thing and arrests Matt, who, while he's being arrested, agrees to race the Viper for Pinks. Can you imagine, Ben? This is wild. You know what's a bad idea? While you're being arrested, shouting, "Oh, I want to commit this crime at this location at this time tomorrow."
Not a good idea.
But we find out why he is so sure that this won't matter. It's because we learn in the next scene that the sheriff is in on it. He's the guy who's arranging the buyer for the rocket fuel.
Yes. We also saw earlier that the rocket fuel explodes when introduced to water.
The team gets a lead on Bobby from the waitress. And that's when we go.
I had when the doctor calls and is like, "It can't be allowed near water."
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, which, how do you not know this?
Yeah, this is like, hey, what's the most, like, this is aliens from whatever that awful M. Night Shyamalan, hey, they invade Earth but are allergic to water movie is.
Yeah. Signs.
Yeah, this is a Signs level. Oops. We almost blew up the space shuttle if it rains. The space shuttle went through a cloud. Yeah, it exploded.
How do you not know this? You would think chemically that this would be apparent.
This would be very easy because, like, we know stuff that explodes when introduced to water. If you get like just a block of pure sodium, it explodes in water. We know these things.
Maybe it's just a liquid pure sodium, and this was done by someone who's just a fucking idiot.
It's entirely possible. We also find out that we have our smuggler, Drake, and that is why we stole all of this extra rocket fuel. Using it to race is just kind of a bonus. We're going to sell it all, and do you want to be the fastest drag racer or the richest?
Actually, you know what? This makes perfect fucking sense. If this is truly the libertarian utopia, I believe it is. There's probably no safety regs. There's no point in checking any of these things. And the person who's there is there because they apparently deserve it, but in actuality, how often is a meritocracy actually a meritocracy?
Never.
It's probably a touch of the nepotiz.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This actually no. I you know what? I completely understand how this happens in this world.
Oh yeah. Nobody checks any work. There
yeah,
are no.
They repealed OSHA 5 years ago.
Frankie and Tom, Joe, Mike ask Clarissa about Robbie, like, "Hey, I heard there's somebody around here who knows how to work on engines," and she's like, "I don't know anybody like that." And even though they're like, "We'll pay him the going rate," which is your TV way of saying, like, I have no idea how much you pay a mechanic.
Fucking after this, the sheriff sees the Viper crew analyzing one of the cars from the heist.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom, Joe, Mike here says the line that made me get up and walk away, which are, "Tires are like fingerprints. Everyone's unique." No! No, they are not! Even, like, you make an argument for, like, wear.
Yeah, the wear patterns are different.
The wear patterns would be different on different vehicles. And I guess there would be some changes if you drove on certain angled roads more often than others. But that's still not going to be unique. And you sure as shit aren't going to be able to get that level of, like
if you could get to the car immediately after it left the imprint on the road and scan it, you might be able to. But after it drives away for a while, probably not.
Well, even then, it's just like the grooves, right? Like, even like if you get like a 3D print of the outside of the tire.
Yeah, but you might be able to be like, hey, I see like these 18 different nicks because you ran over this, this rock and that pebble.
Well, that will be on the tire, but that wouldn't be on the burnout because the whole point of the burnout that they're analyzing is the tire spun.
Yeah.
It fills it all in. It's melted rubber. That's the whole thing. It's flat and a straight line. There are no nicks. It's so dumb, Ben. It's so fucking dumb.
I think
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
you mean brilliant, Xhafer.
I don't.
It is the greatest TV show. At this point, Frankie is like, don't call in backup, but bring me my challenger. At this point, did you think, oh, we have a second Viper?
No, not
Oh,
for a
I was
second.
so
No
hoping.
way.
I was hoping tag team back again.
Not Frankie. No way. Maybe
We also
once,
find out that
TBD.
they have a Viper vapor analyzer, which
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see.
The Vapor
Yeah.
analyzer.
We also find out now Clarissa is talking to Robbie, and she's like, they don't pay you. You sleep on their garage. Like, why are you here, man?
All this goes down, and it's now time to do the drag race.
Oh, before we get to there, though, for some reason, our sheriff sends our gang leader, Matt, to show our smuggler the goods, at which point Matt is instantly like, how about we cut the sheriff out and just do a deal, just ourselves? And it's just like, if I'm the sheriff, why am I sending this dipshit out there to meet this guy, especially learning what we learn later? And
Yeah.
two, if I'm the smuggler, why am I instantly not like, okay, I shoot you and leave you in the desert? You're clearly too stupid to be involved in this.
Right.
But then, yes, we do get to the saddest car show in the desert.
It's time for drag race.
Must be jelly 'cause jam don't shake. Spread that jelly, spread it good.
Are you smizing?
cr-
I hope you're smizing.
The crew confirms their suspicions about the Annihilators here. And we see some water splash on the rocket fuel in the engine, which in turn makes the car explode incredibly violently.
Yes, because Tom Joe Mike can't just race Matt. He has to beat Miko. And our guy who we saw drive with the rocket fuel earlier. And if you can beat Miko, then maybe you can race me. And it's just like, I didn't realize we had like belts or whatever. Just race.
Stages. Ugh. Yeah. So the car explodes. The Tom Joe Mike here goes after Bobby, who starts to like.
He
run
immediately
away.
just starts running, and it's like, you're in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
And while this is going on, most of the Viper crew gets got by the sheriff. And it's just like, oh, the police are so corrupt. We should privatize them all, like Viper. Brought to you by Dodge. The gang takes the crew to jail. The sheriff confronts Matt about his attempted double cross and gets killed for it.
Yes, instantly.
Yep. The crew discuss trying to escape jail. If only they had Pete from Briscoe County Jr. with them.
Pete
And
is
his
very
jail
good at-
expertise.
Yes. Oh, Pete would fit right in this show.
He would.
You know what I would love? It's just a My Dinner with Andre, except it's Pete talking about Pete's piece and Frank talking about his challenger. And it's just like two guys with great facial hair talking about the things they love.
Anyways, from the jail cell, the team goads Matt into the race. He gets Bobby to convert his car to run exclusively off of rocket fuel. So
Yeah.
he can beat the Viper.
But also they have, and this is how you know they're evil, they have been disparaging the Viper the entire time. And
yeah.
it's just like, it's a much nicer, newer car than the cars you're driving around. But also, this guy has the emotional intelligence of like a 7th grader.
Oh, for sure.
Where they're just able to goad him in, just being like, "Hey, you're afraid. You can't do this." It's like, "I'm going to murder you." It's like, "Yeah, but I'm faster than you." It's like, "Who gives a shit? I'm going to murder you." "Yeah, but I can drive a car real good." "No, you can't." It's like, we got him.
He is the physical embodiment of calling people chicken in Back to the Future.
Yeah, this isn't peaked in high school energy. This is peaked in middle school energy. Like,
For
hey,
sure.
sorry, you had your growth spurt first. You didn't end up the tallest kid in class.
At the race, we learn Bobby modified the Viper to also use rocket fuel.
Yeah, which this also made me mad. We get a scene where the bad guys have stolen the Viper.
Yeah.
They are able to open it, which I would have imagined immediately. Like, had the scene been like, "We can't even pop the hood on this thing. Like, I don't know what's going on," I would have been like, that tracks. But they somehow get it open. They're just like, "There's some extra computer stuff in here, but I don't know. Like, it just looks like a stock Viper." And I'm like, it should not look like a stock Viper.
How on earth does it look like a stock Viper? We literally see panels flip out of it in this episode.
Yeah.
The transformation sequence has changed to be more realistic, less nanomachines-y, less Iron Man-y, more possible, I suppose. I don't know. Anyways, the drag race.
Well, except it's not a drag race. It's a
not.
5-mile race with no road signs or indicators anywhere. And so I fully expected Tom Joe Mike to just be like, "I don't know, do I turn left or right here? Like, where do I go?"
Yeah, if you get in the lead, you don't know the route, you're kind of fucked.
But our bad guy Matt does say, like, "And if you try to run, I got machine guns here." And Xhafer,
Yeah.
these are just garden variety race car driving assholes.
For
At
sure.
no point are they like, "And they work for the outfit," or Matt's uncle secretly is this big bad honcho guy.
That's how you know Tom is not Joe Mike. It's
Yeah.
because no one from his past is involved in this episode.
Nobody instantly recognizes him and like, "You son of a bitch." But Xhafer, they've got their hands on 4 machine guns that they have implanted in these cars.
And a monster truck.
What happened to her?
So we know this is libertarian utopia. I feel like
Yes.
I've well established this fact. Just got him at the gun show, Ben. There's no background check laws. Well, you don't need those. You just roll in and buy them.
Xhafer?
It's cash only transaction.
Are you saying in the world of Viper, are you saying machine guns are legal? Or are you
Yes.
saying machine gun car is street legal?
Yes.
All right. I like
It's-
it.
I think Viper might actually be a Twisted Metal prequel. Without knowing anything about the world of Twisted Metal. I think it's in a post-apocalypse. I don't know. I should
But-
watch that TV show at some point.
We do have Robbie, who is just like freaking out as this race is about to start. And Matt is like, "Hey, don't worry about it, because I've also got Clarissa. And if anything happens, I'll shoot her." And he turns his gun sideways, so you know he means it.
It's true. So this race starts. The Viper is having some problems. It can't transform.
Because Robbie shot jet rocket fuel in it.
Yeah. And so it starts to win anyways because it's the Viper.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt opens fire, and he takes out a tire,
Yes.
which causes the Viper to spin out.
And Tom Joe Mike is unconscious.
Yeah.
And instead of killing him, Matt is just like, "I win." And it's like, but you lost. You had to shoot him. You had to cheat.
No, I mean, he still wins, right? He finishes the race.
But at this point,
The
Clarissa's
town folk
mom,
raid the jail.
yeah, it's just like, the bad guys have taken over the sheriff's office. And it's like, did nobody hear the sheriff get murdered? Like, it's a small town. He was just out back.
Yeah. They're a bunch of good guys with guns, Ben. And they take back the sheriff's office, even though none of those people have guns. They pull guns on. Yeah, makes it
Anyways, it is an American dream here.
Eventually, the Viper transforms. Cole pulls ahead. Matt attacks the Viper to his own demise as his GTO flips and explodes.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked.
This is important. So Tom Joe Mike is blocking the road.
Yeah.
Matt is shooting at him, and Tom Joe Mike, not an asshole, like, hey, he's not stopping, backs up. And because Matt insists on still driving full speed, flips it off and explodes.
Yep.
So it's very important to note, Tom Joe Mike did not do this. If Matt had simply slowed down or stopped, he would not have exploded and died.
Yeah, no, it's Matt's own fault.
He was hoisted on his own Picard.
Petard.
Oh, I thought I saw a bald guy kill him.
Oh.
Oh.
No, he did it himself.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this pretty much wraps up the episode. We get a little bit here where Bobby's arrested, that he'll probably be treated leniency because he's been so cooperative with the Viper people who are feds now. How does his dad get to keep his top secret clearance or whatever?
Well, also, one of the things we kind of glossed over in this episode is this is a top secret, only one person knows about this super rocket fuel. Like, even the rest of the people who work with Dr. Strom do not fully understand what they've got here. Mm-hmm. And yet he goes home and blabs it in a way that his son is able to not only completely understand the nature of this rocket fuel, but to be able to be like, and I can modify a car to use it. Like, if I am the feds, Robbie is not going to jail. Robbie is not going to juvie. Robbie is going to a secret government black site where I'm just like, okay, Robbie, like, you're working for, like, libertarian DARPA. Like, what you got, man? You want to work on cars in your off time? I don't give a shit. Like, you just made a car run on rocket fuel. Like, go to town, my dude.
Ugh.
And Frankie does tell him, hey, stay in school, and maybe you can be a mechanic. He's like, I made a car run on rocket fuel, Frankie. I'm not going to be a fucking mechanic.
Ugh. That's the episode. We did it.
Yes, we did. Greatest
I'm
TV
gonna
show ever made.
I'm going to roll some dice here.
Roll low, roll low, roll low.
If I can get them out of the fucking dice tray here. Ooh, that's a high roll.
No. I don't believe you.
15 out of 16 possible on 44. Which means we're skipping ahead to season 3, episode 5, Out from Oblivion. When Cole discovers an old CIA buddy living on the streets, he's again led into a world of espionage and intrigue. All right. Well, that's nondescript, but I guess it tells us that Cole was a CIA agent at one time.
Or was he?
Or was he? I don't know. Why don't we make some predictions about that?
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
I'm ready to go. I got
Go
my
for it.
daytime prediction. We never see Mike Joe again.
It's possible. Especially with that role.
My evening prediction: we never see Julian again. And my primetime prediction: I actually don't feel that great about my daytime prediction. We do see Mike Joe again.
Hedging your bets there, Xhafer.
Yep. I figure there's no way I get 5.
That's true. Well, depending on if we're able to find any kind of recap on this, it's going to be a little tricky.
This is we never see.
Oh, okay.
This is episodes that we watch.
I mean, but as we've established canonically, Tom is Joe Mike, so we're going to see him again.
This is operating under the presumption that Tom is not Joe Mike.
How dare you?
I guess if Tom is Joe Mike, then 1, I want an explanation, but 2, I get my 3 points.
I just want our Amon in Undiscovered Country, where Tom and Joe Mike are together, and then they kiss. So
You got some predictions?
my daytime prediction is the Viper gets captured again.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
random
Are we going to see the Viper get captured?
Yeah, some random
Okay.
dipshits get it and do not know what they've got. My evening prediction is we have 2 more gangs with inexplicable gadgets. Because we've now had, out of our 3 episodes, we've had our highwaymen from the first episode, and they're attached to the Outfit, the greatest, criminal enterprise in America. But since then, we have had 2 groups of just random unaffiliated dipshits with crazy tech.
Yeah.
And my prime time, very similar to yours, some of our old cast show up again. We see either Julian or Joe again.
All right. Well, that's that. I guess we may as well just say some thank yous. Hey, right? They got a couple shows announced right now. A couple February, a couple May in Brooklyn, Massachusetts, and Texas. Go check them out if you're in that area. They're fucking great. Go listen to Right. Thanks so much for letting us use Goon Squad.
5-star review anywhere you listen to your podcast. It really, really helps. Share some of these episodes. Hey, let everybody know that the gospel of Viper is being spread. And if you don't enjoy the show, well, just DM that to Victor.
We don't want to.
And we will see you next time on Last Time On. And I am Victor. Hey, I'm Victor. Victor, being Victor. I'm in Texas.